It is time to get banned or paid, no longer how long you've been subscribed to me. I will ban you if the chat deems it enough to be banned for. Are you ready? Begin. Welcome to Ban or Pay, where the community shares their replays with a chance to get banned or paid. Pay Boda, yeah? Wait, that's Boda saying that. You're banned! Ban appeals have a 100% success rate. Share your replay in the Google Doc in the pinned comment to let chat decide your fate. Hajime! Wandering Griffin, that is an old card. Pretty much has been power crept to an oblivion, but we're playing it alongside with the brand new LZ Azamina. Not so new anymore. Making Excel Synchron as LZ is going to be searching for the Wanted Seeker. We have Wanted Seeker searching our deck for Diablo Star. Original Sinful, draw a card. This thing is happening. What the heck does it do? Return a monster in the graveyard back in the extra deck, then special summon this onto the field of banishment. It leaves the field, sure. So this is a Baron to floor, right? No, we're going into a Crimson Dragon, which we just Trishilla again and we win, right? Trishilla banished the Brain Infusion. Trishilla was returned back. What happened? Did we run out of time? I don't understand. I guess we are waiting. To Crimson Drag, oh, it's a hard once per turn. Yes, only once per turn can we use this effect. So all we have to do is wait for the next turn and then banish the Brand Infusion, but they're gonna draw another card. So it's a 50% chance to banish the Brand Infusion. Uh-oh. What? Well, he's gonna be real happy when he banishes a Branded Fusion. Oh my Jesus. Trishilla is here, activate. Gotcha, sorry, nothing personal, kid. Say goodbye to your whole opening hand. Now what you gonna do through a monster negate? We still have Brain Infusion. Nani? Bakanon! Wow. Hand looped you. JC, that was pretty good. All right, ban him or pay him. What are we doing? Damn. We are paying the Mad Lad. You have won. Ban or pay. You will not be banned. Congratulations. Let's go. We have Crystal Beast in ban or pay. The opponent starting off with a Lordy Load, searching for the barrel, setting up a Drill Beam, Omni negate anything made during the next turn. Everyone hates Blue Eyes, so if you're about to clap them up, people will love this. Let's Spear with the Eyes of Blue, bridge our way into a Sage as we search our deck for the Mausoleum for that additional summon. Sage with Eyes of Blue, come to me, Maiden, to now set up the True Light from Engrave into our back row. As we're now going to get our Blazoid Dragon engraved, to then reborn it with the Spirit Dragon, triggering the Maiden Engrave, as we now equip onto the Blazoid Dragon and Neo Ultimate to give us the ability to negate a targeting effect onto a Blue Eyes monster. We also have a Jet Dragon, protecting all of our other monsters from being destroyed while it's on the field. You have double Spirit Dragon. Holy clappage. Society, how are you going to beat this? Dude's got Omni Negate, double Spirit Dragon, and the Crimson Dragon mate. So at minimum, well, we're going to do it right now. Let's talk about the disruptions once we resolve the draw phase at least. Ultimate Spirit Dragon, Crimson Dragon into a Cipher Divine. And we're not done. We've only just begun. True Light is also going to be reborning a Blazoid Dragon to turn on the Primite card. Now, believe me if I remember this correctly, on the top cards page, I think that we have Cipher on here, right? Cipher is an 84% win rate when it is summoned in any duel over the total duels. So for sure, Cipher being summoned here ensures that the opponent will win this. Or is Societia a part of the 16%? Going to clap this up as it negates any monster effect. We can negate a card effect in the grave. We could also Ultimate Spirit Dragon, negate anything activated in the field. We could use the Drill Beam to negate anything on the field and banish it. Can we play through this? Let's find out. Maiden Reborn. We have at least two Omni Negates to deal with. Whoa, the Ultimate Dragon is now gone. Omni Negate down. Grief Tablet. Now, this states that the monster is negated if we equip it onto the Cipher. Thus, we're going to use the Majesty of White to non-target pop the Grief Tablet to ensure our Cipher does not get negated. Not today. Now, the Majesty could have been good against the Senjin. Very nice, eating up 2 disruptions so far. But now, the Jet Dragon jets onto the field, protecting all other cards from being destroyed by card effects. We're now going to Senjin equip itself into the back row, summon for the back row as we now search our deck for a Golem. The Cipher could have negated the Senjin from in hand. We're going to instead negate the Golem in hand, and we must destroy a card in the field, so we could just simply destroy the Senjin on field. But the Senjin says, I cannot be destroyed by monster effects. Nice try. Blue Eyes player not reading, of course, as we Rainbow Bridge, search our deck for the Rainbow Bridge of Hearts. Heart is going to pop from our hand to search our deck for a Crystal Bond. With our Crystal Bond, we're going to get negated and banished. Should we be done? Golem can't be activated. Senjin does nothing. All we have left is a Golden Rule. What the heck is this? Place 2 Crystal Beast monsters from your deck face up in your spell and trap zone as continuous spells, then special summon a Crystal Beast from your hand or graveyard with a different name. Let's do it. We're going to Chain Spirit Dragon, which is not a negate. It would negate a card in grave. Instead, it's going to potentially set up a disruption, which is the Light Storm Dragon. Is this not an issue? Well, let's find out what this does exactly. This is going to, on special summon, you could optionally target back row cards to destroy them, wiping out your Crystal Beast play. But with the Golden Rule, we are reborning the Carbuncle. When this card is special summoned, you can special summon as many Crystal Beast monsters as possible from your spell and trap zones. So we are going to be on the lower chain link to the higher chain link, popping our back row cards. Wait, we're not going for the Crystal Beast? You what, mate? What are we trying to stop here? What was this effect even doing? The Rainbow Bridge was triggering to target one card your opponent controls to return both that card and this card to the hand. So that back row card is now remaining on the field. That back row card must be an impermanence, right? Imperm, the Carbuncle is what we should be doing? No, what were we protecting? Wipe out the back row. Carbuncle gets destroyed, putting itself in the back row, double summon, and it's... what? It gets destroyed and then summons itself? Well, that is crazy. Okay, double Pegasus is here, because it's a non-target summon for the back row. If you could just, on a higher chain link, put it into the back row, as we now make a Dempsey. We cared about protecting this back row for what reason? Now, we still have the Jet Dragon protecting us. Bro protected a cross-out Designate. You what, mate? What are you doing? How do you not know what Crystal Beast do? Cobalt Eagle searching our deck for the Rainbow Dragon. Let's turn all these bodies into a Promethean Princess. Promethean Reborn the Renaud. Renaud add back the Grief Tablet to again negate a monster on the field if needed. As we now go into the Raging Phoenix. As we Little Knight it up, not banishing on summon, we would lose our direct attack. We have Zealantis. The OG one-turn kill. Yes, banish everything, then special summon it all back on the field. The Kaiju I banished on your side is now my Kaiju. Thank you very much. It returns back to the original owner here. Little Knight. Now, if Little Knight were to banish the Kaiju, it would return back on their field. We could now put you face down or face up. As the Jet Dragon was protecting them from being destroyed by card effect, we can now, with the Zealantis, co-linked with Little Knight, non-target destroy multiple cards on the field, take out the True Light, which will then further wipe away their entire field for 6,300 damage. Not enough for lethal, unfortunately. That's okay, as we now main phase 2 it up into a triple monster negate Apollo USA mate. What could they even top deck into? We could swing our monster and then Reborn Jet Dragon, but the Apollo will negate it. We have the Barrel attempting to add itself from engraved back to the hand. The Apollo, again, will negate it. Whatever you top deck into, if it were a Wishes, you need another card to even use it with. This is it. Crystal Beast putting an end to the Blue Eyes Fool. Not reading the Crystal Beast cards here. Setting up the Golem. We're going to use Purge to negate and destroy the Golem, which triggers the Jet Dragon. Thus, the Apollo USA negates its summon. Not today. Now, Societia, clean up this Blue Eyes Fool. Rainbow Bridge, grabbing our Crystal Bond. Let's bond into our hand our Sapphire Pegasus. This is enough for lethal damage, mate. Grief Tablet, what the heck are we doing? We're going to grab a Wedju Temple, sure. Send the back row for our Doom Dragon. No mercy for the Blue Eyes player, really? Wow. You are going in. Where did Blue Eyes hurt you, my friend? Lethal damage. Nicely done. And the World Championship qualifier also. So we straight up, we memeing in the World Championship. Ooh, it's close. Society is a long-time subscriber. Banning him would be a huge blow to my viewership. Are we sure we want to ban him, chat? Okay. He has a ban appeal already ready, so I think he said something about that. In case of ban appeal, please watch Society vs. Zooey. I go second against 9 disruption, Ubel turn 2. What do y'all think? Do we give him a second chance if we all want to ban him? Let me know in the chat. Does he get a second chance? We're going to give Society a second chance before we ban him. Now, mind you, people that maybe didn't want to ban you are more likely to want to ban you for you getting a second chance if they deem that to be unfair. Let's find out. Are you ready? All right, what kind of top tier slop we have at the top here? Going into, of course, Fiendsmith plays. You have triple monster negate, another monster negate, plus D-Lotus into another monster negate, at least 5 monster negates. Are you ready? Begin. We have the Chamber, which will be giving us an additional how many other forms of disruption here. With the Chamber summoning the Soul of Rage, that's going to allow us to link off into a Little Knight Banish, into a Little Knight Banish. So that is a total of 8 disruptions we have so far, counting the back row. By fingering the Soul of Rage, we knock off 3 disruptions, dropping them down to 5 disruptions at the moment. Well, it's 9 disruptions. It was 8, and I guess the back row card's the 9th disruption, right? We're going to summon Ascension from the back row here, which the Apollo nor the Phantom of Bell could negate. We're now going to send our 2 back row cards to summon our Doomed Dragon. Attempting to push back the Phantom of Bell, Apollo say, negate. We're down to 4 disruptions at the moment. Let's further go into a Little Knight. On summon, banish away the Nightmare Pain. Apollo say is going to negate. We're going to Little Knight, chain banish away the Apollo say, and the permanent is the 9th disruption. It was 9 total disruptions. Negate the Little Knight. Now, what do we have left here? We have Apollo, Phantom of Bell, and D-Lotus. Triple disruption left. The Soul of Rage is a loaded disruption. It's got a lot of disruptions built into it, so the Call by the Grave knocking off 3 right away was big. As we negate the Crystal Beast, Sapphire Pegasus, let's further go into the Cross Sheep. We have 2 more negates left. We've only just begun. Golden Rule Reborn onto the field, Sapphire Pegasus, as Phantom of Bell is going to negate. Change the effect to Destroy You Bell from the deck. And we still have D-Lotus. D-Lotus is a much rarer used disruption. You contribute this card to change the effect of a monster effect to destroy a Ubel monster on the field instead. With our final disruption left, let's go into the Dempsey. So to be fair, if we consider the Call by the Grave to be a board breaker, it was not 9 disruption. We're playing through 6 disruption with actual in-engine plays, right? We're going to D-Lotus, negate the Dempsey, and playing through 6 disruption is quite a feat. I think so. Take out the Ubel by negating with the D-Lotus, and now we are at 0. So we fingered 3 disruptions, then played through 6 other disruptions, dropping them to 0 disruptions left. We're going to send a Grief Tablet, summon for the deck of Renaud. Renaud's going to grab back the Golden Rule. This should be a hard once per turn, right? Yes, it is. As we now summon our Promethean Princess. Promethean is going to be reborning the Dempsey back in the field, further turning these 2 bodies into a Raging Phoenix. Raging Phoenix is going to go into the Zealantis play. Zealantis banish away the entire field, return it back, and with a Dempsey being summoned back onto our field, that will trigger the Promethean Princess to pop it plus another card in the field. In addition to that, we're also going to be triggering our Raging Phoenix Salaman. Great. Wipe away the Shavara. Come forth, Promethean Princess. And we're not done, as we now have the Raging Phoenix, but boosted by the Dempsey, coming out onto the field with a whopping how much attack? 5,100 attack, wipe out the Apollo. They have nothing in hand, nothing in the field, from 9 disruption down to 6 disruption to then 0 disruption. Lethal damage with Crystal Beast. Is anyone convinced to play this deck after that? Again, just the called by knocking off 3. That was still 6 disruption we played through. Is that a ban or pay, Gianna? For the second chance on whether we ban or pay Societia. Let's see. Are they still going to ban him? It's Crystal Beast, right? People like that. Playing through 6 disruption after the called by. Boom. Whoa. Societia has redeemed himself. I did not expect that. Good job, Societia. You will not get banned. Or first we should ban him, then unban him, then pay him. There you go, Gianna, do all that. And you are now getting paid. Congratulations, Societia. Let's go. Begin. How is he playing terraforming? Bro, is this replay from like 2 years ago? What the heck? This is crazy. You've been saving it for this day. Wow. Yes. Holy moly. This is tier 0 tier limit. What the heck? That was like 3 years ago. I don't even know at this point. Wow. All right. Well, can you imagine getting banned for a replay from 2 years ago? What are our disruptions? We have the Crime, which can negate anything, which could then trigger a fusion summon. We have the Time Thief Redoer, which can trigger the Rhino Heart, which could trigger a fusion summon. And then we also have the Caldo with the field spell, which can trigger its effect to pop a card in the field. We have at least 4 potential disruptions, possibly more if we trigger a mill. Are you ready? Get based. Time Thief Redoer, attempting to steal a card off the top of the deck. We're going to be discarding our own Caldo to negate just 1 monster on the field. We do not need to negate the Kick Cal. Time Thief Redoer now not going to get the Caldo nor the Rhino Heart engraved. We're going to Lightning Storm onto the back row, attempting to wipe out the Crime. Crime is going to negate and return the Storm back into the deck by discarding a card from the hand on resolution. That's going to be the Hovness, the fusion trigger that we were talking about. Let's fuse it up as we fuse away with the Kick Cal and Hovness into our Rukalos. Rukalos is here. Let's read the effect of Rukalos. When your opponent activates a card or effect that includes an effect to special summon, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. Well, does the Numeron network actually have the effect to special summon? Let's read that. During your main phase, send a Numeron normal spell that meets its activation conditions from your deck to the graveyard. This effect becomes that spell's effect. So this effect is not to special summon. The effect is to copy an effect. Thus, the Rukalos cannot negate an effect that's literally special summoning. What the heck? Wow. Let's go. Numeron, 4 bodies on the field. Rukal is wondering why the game is bugged right now, as we're going to be swinging in. We have Herald of Orange Light. This is an insane play. By being able to negate a monster effect and discard an effect trigger that mills off the top of the deck, 5 cards from both players' decks are about to get milled. Within the damage step, which we could possibly summon a Kaleido Heart to bounce a card in the field back in the deck. Let's trigger it. Mill 5, we did mill. Not only, wait, does Sharon already triggered this turn? Ain't no way. Why did we not activate it? How are we resolving an effect already? We also have the field spell, which will allow us to pop a card in the field by returning a card engraved with Mudora. We can pop. Why did not fuse? Am I confused here or what? Sharon literally did not trigger, right? Let's return the cards back, trigger the field spell, as I said, wiping away the Numeron network. What is this tier 0 player doing? What the? Okay, let's main phase 2 into the Numeron Chaos Gate. We're gonna be activating to very simply banish all monsters on the field. Banish the field. All right, they come back, right? Right, I think so. During your next standby phase, after this card was banished, it's your next standby phase. Nothing happened after their standby phase. Merly is going to mill 3 into another mill 5. We're now going to be triggering the Sharon and the Scream. We're going to use our own Caldo to return their tier limits back to the deck, stopping their fusion summon play. Are they stuck with just a Merle? Let's find out. Scream's gonna be searching for another Crime. Crime requires a monster in the hand to even be activatable to then negate anything. Thus, the Crime is useless. What does number of Veil do again? Dark Hole, you don't want to be wiping out the Merle with that. That will trigger effective fusion summon. We have the Chaos Gate back on the field, mate. 2000 attack, Sulliak, we're going to negate, but more importantly, trigger the Merle to fusion summon, and this will still trigger the field spell. If a Tearlament is shuffled back in the deck, we can target one card in the field and destroy it. You could say goodbye to your Numeron Chaos Gate. Wipe it. What now? We got a Magical Mallet? Oh, bro, what can you even top deck into off of this Mallet? I have no idea what we're about to see. Show me. We don't need Dark Hole. We don't need the Numbers of Ale. That's good, right? We have enough materials to do it again. We're doing it again. We're doing it again. We are. Come forth and summon 4 more Numerons onto the field within main phase 2. We're trying to trigger our field spell a second time. What a freaking cheater this Tearlament player is. Cyberstein, that card is banned. I'm going to turn these 4 bodies into an Avramax. Avramax is untargetable by card effects. What the heck? How do we deal with it? 3,000 attack, back to Leon. This is actually a good card against Tearlament. It's quite difficult for them to deal with it. 3,000 to the face. We're not going to even risk our Cup of Ace. If we were to flip a tails, the opponent would draw 2. Sharon is now discarding from the hand a Merly, mill 3. This is at super full power Tearlament. I could not believe what the deck used to look like back in the day. Kick, Cow, trigger, search, or send, pop with the field spell. We can't pop the Avramax. How do we deal with this? Cannot be targeted, and you can only target this for monster attacks. Okay. Let's swing into kill. Kick, Cow does not trigger. What are you doing? By battle does not trigger a mill 5. It has to be by card effect. So Sully could send it to the grave, but Sully could not target the Avramax. So they're just flailing their arms. They have no idea what to do while they're playing a tier 1 deck. Lightning Storm not usable. To battle we go. If we battle with a special summon monster, don't we boost equal to the opponent's monster's attack? So we can't even Kaleido swing in. We can't kill it by battle. We can't target it with a card effect. Can someone help me out with what the out is to a freaking Avramax? We need a Goddess. I think the Goddess is pretty much the only real out. Let's Magical Mallet, return 3, back in the deck. Sales ban. Let's take out the Keldo. We can't trigger the field spell to take out the Avramax. What is left for tier? If they were to draw their entire hand here, I still believe they would have no out to the Avramax. Sales banded up, another Lightning Storm. There's no way you're going to be slowly battling through every single Maxi and Ash they set from the hand. No way that this is the rest of the duel. Sharon's going to send Hovness, mill 3, trigger a double fusion summon play here. As we now go into a Dragostapelia, which can't target the Avramax. We now go into a Kick Cow, which could trigger our 3rd fusion summon, or search for a Rhino, which could then trigger a fusion summon. What? Wait, what happened here? Why did no activate? It attacked over Avramax. I thought this boosted. Damage calculation, if this card battles, you didn't want to get crimed. That's why. You chose to not activate. So the crime can negate the Avramax from boosting its attack equal to the special summon monster attacks. So instead of allowing it to die, to use the effect of, you could shuffle 1 card in the field back into the deck. The crime does not target. So the crime is non-target negate Avramax, and we didn't want that to happen. We did have an out. We did. So I'm not saying it was correct to not activate, but we knew that crime would have negated. We're now going to go into a Kick House. We now have our Lightning Storm activatable. Let's get to it. Let's do it. Lightning Storm. Wipe away the back row cards. It is a hard once return activation. We're now going to be triggering the crime. Return back to Brucalos. Sulik is going to be searching for a monster. Does Number of Veil do something here? I think it does. I think we're going to whip out a Rongo. Is it Rongo time? Number of Veil into the Rongo with the Rongo. Rongo having how many materials? 4 materials. So what does that entail? It doesn't have the 5th effect, but it has the 4th effect of your opponent cannot normal or special summon monsters. It is unaffected by other card effects. It gains 1500 attack and defense. It cannot be destroyed by battle, but it's okay. The card is balanced. It states that during your opponent's end phase, you must detach a material from this card unless you ban it. Sales ban. By declaring Rongo, that monster could not activate its effects for the rest of this duel. What? Permanently floodgating, permanently unaffected, permanently cannot be destroyed by battle, and permanently not detaching. What is the out? Scooping. Chad, it's up to you. Was that a base deck? Did a cool thing happen? Tier finally had an out for the Avramax, setting up with the crime plus a monster in hand to negate it by attacking into it with the special summon monster. You tell me. He's been holding on to this replay for years. for years. Every night he goes to bed thinking about the day that we will finally ban or pay him for this replay. Gianna, can you do the poll? Boom. No, you can't ban him. He waited years. What? No. He defeated tier 0 tier limits. We haven't had a deck more powerful than that for years. Oh, I'm so sorry, but we have to fulfill the chat's wishes. Leon, beginner duelist of years ago, defeating a tier 0 deck. You're banned. Don't come back, fool. All right, thank you. You can send in a ban appeal. There's a 100% success rate on that. Thank you very much. Press your planet, grab the Fenrir here. Let's search our deck for tier cash. Let's replace the fields. Bro, you've been holding on to this replay for how long? When was this card banned? This is crazy. People have been waiting for their replays against tier 0 tier limit for years. Let's mill cards, Hovnish trigger, Scream trigger, grab a crime from the deck, use of the graveyard. Merly is probably not in their deck, right? I would think that Merly was at least banned. The tier field spell was banned much later. Tier cash, I don't think we even had tier cash when tier limit was tier 0. That was too new. That came maybe in August or in October. We're gonna use the field spell to pop the Kaleido Heart. Tier came out in April of that year, then Fenrir came out in August. All right, new Vel it up. We got a board breaker, but is that gonna be enough against whatever they have? I do believe they at least searched a crime, which will be able to negate anything. Good luck. Let's set up the Nouvelle restaurant, searching for a ritual spell. Let's now activate a non-ritual spell to reveal 2 Nouvelle to grab from our deck a ritual spell plus a Nouvelle ritual. Let's now activate a ritual spell. We're going to be tributing off Diviner to summon the Nouvelle. Now, these have the crazy effect of when a card effect is activated that targets this card, you could tribute this card and 1 attack position monster on either field. That is a non-target tribute off the Kaleido, which would then trigger to Reborn back. You probably don't want to do that. So we have Diviner when tributed, which will be triggering to summon. This on summon has an effect to add from our deck. Scream's going to trigger to mill. And then on the resolution here, the Fenrir may try to banish it, which will then allow us to change its effect to tribute off the Fenrir or tier cash. If we tribute off tier cash, it will trigger to mill too. We can't tribute off the Kaleido because that's going to whip out a ton of disruption from there. We have Shadow Beast, which we now know they have a floodgate in their extra deck as they're going to draw a card from the beast being sent to the grave. Ritual Sanctuary off of the Cyber Egg. What the heck? Dynamondo is going to on-summon target a card in the field and shuffle both back in the deck. We have Sulliek to negate the Dynamondo plus send potentially the Kaleido Heart to reborn it, spin a card in the field back, and then also trigger a fusion summon. Let's do exactly that. Kaleido sent for the deck Hovnish. We're going to spin back the field spell into our deck, but now we can activate our Triple Tactics talent. Hovnish further fusing away into exactly what I said. The floodgate is here. Now we're going to normal Diviner send and Entis. Entis cannot pop the window. It cannot be destroyed by card effects. How do we out the floodgate as we go for the crime? Crime is going to not only negate the Entis, but possibly trigger a graveyard effect from whatever we sent from our hands to the grave. We have Fairy Tale Snow now in grave, ready to flip a monster in the field face down. We're going to Triple Tactics talent, take control, come to me, window. We're going to link off the window into a Sprite Elf. Elf could reborn a level 2 from the grave. We're going to Preparation of Rites, grab a Cyber Angel Ben 10, grab back a Ritual Spell in grave. As we now follow up with a Ritual Spell, we're going to Ritual off, tributing off the Ben 10 to summon the Nouvelle level 2, which will trigger the Ben 10, and the level 2, which will destroy a spell and trap card in the field, taking out the opposing field spell. Come to us from the deck, a Sakutama. We already used up our normal summon, but it has the effect to still special summon. I should say additional normal summon. We're now going to Fenrir target the Sprite Elf here, attempting to banish it face down, as we reborn back on the field our Diviner of the Herald. Now from here, we are going to further Synchro Shokan into a Baron de Fleur, as the Fairy Tale Snow is going to attempt to flip that Baron de Fleur face down. We're in a tricky situation. If you negate the snow, you destroy the snow, and then it goes back in the grave, which could then resummon back in the field to again flip a monster on the field face down. What do? We do it anyway. Negate and destroy. They forgot to put a clause on snow where some part of this would be a hard once per turn. The flip's not hard, the special summon's not hard, so it is coming right back out a second time, activating a second time on the field, flip down the Baron to floor, which by the way, you just reset its effect. If we have a way to flip it back up, it's going to be usable again, right? It's once while face up. We are knowing, actually the negate is still once per turn, it looks like. The previous effect once per turn, once while face up. We have Herald of Arc Light, but we're killing our Herald of Arc Light. What the heck? Well, when sent to the graveyard, it has an effect to search our deck. Is this worth the effect? As we search for a Nouvelle level 5. We're now gonna use the Ritual Sanctuary to discard a spell to then add a Ritual spell or monster from the deck. Let's Ritual out our level 5 Nouvelle. Our level 5 Nouvelle, what's it gonna do as the Ben 10 searches our deck here? Let's read this. You could add a Nouvelle or recipe from your deck to your hand. Sure. Okay. As we grab from the deck our Nouvelle Pendulum monster, further adding a Diviner, we're going to, with the Pendulum, flip back up the Baron to floor. So let's read this to further clarify how this works. Once per turn destroyed, this effect is activatable again. Once while face up, negate. You can only use the previous effect once per turn. So it's a once while face up and a once per turn. So it's not able to negate again as we search for our special recipe. Let's pop our own card. If you were to chain link block this, we would not be able to activate it. Since it was targeted by a card effect, whether it's the opponent or our own, we're now going to tribute off an opponent's monster to then summon from the deck. Let's tribute off the tier cash to summon a Nouvelle level 3, which triggers the cash to mill 2. I did talk about this previously. This could trigger a fusion summon possibly. It sends a Rhino to the graveyard. Will that trigger? Yes, it will. We're gonna discard a tier from the hand to Reborn and triggering a fusion play. Rhino activating alongside the Sharon as we fuse it up into sending from the deck a Havnis. We're gonna turn this into a Rukalos, a special summon negate. We're gonna preparation of rites. How is someone not timed out yet? I feel like a lot has been happening. We're gonna add a ritual plus a ritual spell. Let's ritual it up, tributing off the Pendulum Nouvelle into another level 1 ritual Nouvelle, as we're now going to be triggering the Pendulum to put itself into the back row, further going into a Little Knight on summon, banish a card on field. We're gonna banish away the Rukalos from the game, and now we are using the open game state spell speed 1 effect of target 1 attack position monster your opponent controls, tribute it, and if you do special summon a Nouvelle from the deck, it is a quick effect only if this were summoned through a Nouvelle monster. Let's tribute off to summon the Bale Grill. Bale Grill is on special summon. You can negate the effects of all face-up cards your opponent currently controls. That's not just monsters, that's also spell and trap cards. The entire field is fully negated. Then if summoned through a Nouvelle monster, which it was, you could tribute as many monsters your opponent controls as possible, which will trigger their graveyard effects if they have not already used them. Tribute the field, full back row negate, just like that mate, set up an Omni negate in the back row. Nouvelle taking out tier limit. Is that a ban or pay? This is, oh boy, I don't know. How's the chat? They're saying base, people like it. Boom. We are paying you. Nouvelle defeating tier limit. You didn't do it with Numeron, you did it with a base deck. Good job, let's go. Begin. Golem, summon, search for the Wedju Temple. Wedju Temple, gonna put a monster for the hand into the back row to get up our Senjin, searching our deck for another Senjin, put it into the back row to now summon our Doom Dragon. Flameburst trigger, Reborn 2 bodies here. Let's make our Link Karibo to... I'm so glad that Malice gave us a Link Karibo through the effect of the field spell to protect Apollo. That's great. You can't swing into Apollo against Malice, just as Konami intended. How can we break this? This is an Omni negate anything. We could also Masquerade link it off to send a card from the field to the grave, which is rarely going to happen, but it is the ceiling. We're going to also have 2 monster negates, the Apollo. We're going to have a Promethean, which will pop a monster on special summon. We have the Masquerade going into a double Little Knight Banish. That's about 7 forms of disruption we have to play through, and we have a board breaker through Triple Tactics Talent. Ancient Gear Advance is going to be activating to add an Ancient Gear from the deck. A spell trap card is we're going to negate. As we Triple Tactics Talent mates, take control. As we're going to link off with the Masquerade. What? Apollo, I mean, we could have used Apollo against us, right? Well, this is why you got to really be careful with the Desiree or your Deceive Worm to negate a very important board breaker like effect like the Triple Tactics Talent. Goodbye to that. Let's take the Desiree. Thank you very much. Now let's read the Desiree. Only you can only use this effect once per turn. I'm not you. So what this means is the Asian player used the effect once, and now we could use the effect once, and it has the link rating equipped onto it, right? Equipped onto this card, does not matter which field, we can now negate. Maxi, in response to the activation of the Fortress, Fortress is absolutely broken. You are going to not be able to activate cards or effects in response to the activation of any of our Ancient Gear cards and effects, and also, during the turn they are summoned, your opponent cannot target them. What? How do we counter this? We can't chain to this, we can't target this as we search for a statue. We have Drone Lockbird, which is activating on the Resolution, special summon. Unfortunately, this does not activate on summon. As I said, the Desiree is activatable. It's not that great, but still we're going to negate. And this does trigger the Desiree to send a card in the field now, as we're going to get rid of, by returning back the sequence, say goodbye to the Fortress. We're now going to Urgent Schedule. Only activatable if the opponent has more monsters than you. Summon up to 2 bodies from your deck, and they are, of course, negated. Goodbye to the Fortress Protection, as we now further go into a Clockwork Knight. It is activating its effect to tribute off a monster to Reborn from Engraved the Statue. Statue is going to tribute off the summon from the deck, a Dark Golem. This time, the Dark Golem is not going to be negated as we now make a Dugaris. Dugaris is going to activate its effect, detach 2, to target to boost a 6,000 attack. Okay. With our 6,000 attack Dark Golem, what are we doing? We're going to Little Knight Banish away the Link Karibo. To the battle phase we go. We have lethal damage just like that. 5,200 over the Snake Eye Ash in attack position. Let's go. Dark Golem. If summon, add up to 2. If you attack, your opponent cannot activate spell trap cards until the end of the damage step. Is that a ban or pay? Clapping up Snake Eye Fiendsmith. Let's find out. We have a ban. No. Drex, a loyal subscriber and longtime supporter. The chat has decided. You're banned. Blue Eyes, clapping up Blue Eyes is going to be good. We have Spirit Dragon, Link 1, searching our deck for the Mausoleum. Let's send from the deck a Blue Eyes White Dragon, reborn it back onto the field, of course. Trigger the Maiden, reborn. Set up our Spirit Dragon, negate, additional summon the Sage, searching for a Valor negate. But at least 2 disruptions now, as we now go up to at least 3 disruptions. Wishes, grabbing a Majesty, so we're at 4, 5 disruptions. Let's further go into the Ultimate, into the Crimson, Crimson into the Sifred Divine. 5 disruptions, right? We have 2 Ash, 2 negates, and in the back row we have a Majesty Mate. Now, bringing you back on over to the website here, we could see the top usage on the top cards page, officially from Konami's highest ranked data. It showcases that Sifred Divine is an 84% win rate when summoned, similar to Crimson Dragon, 81% win rate when summoned. Is this going to be a win? Let's find out. Begin. There are at least 5 disruptions with a mysterious set card. We're going to summon our Swap Frog from the hand without normal summoning it. Triggering the Angler, we're going to use our 1 of 2 Valors to negate the Swap Frog from sending a level 2 water from the deck to the grave. Negate. The ultimate can negate an activation on the field. Cipher can negate a monster activating from anywhere. We're going to Sprite Jet using our second Veiler. Negate the Jet from searching the deck for a Sprite spell or trap. Negate. Now from here, we're going to turn these two bodies into a Moon of the Closed Heaven. We're going to use our Majesty to non-target pop that Moon, get it out of here. We have Cipher Divine plus the ultimate. Now, while this negates the activation of a card, it does not destroy it. The Swap Frog will remain on the field after we negate it. We just have Cipher Divine. Cipher Divine negating the Swap Frog effect of returning a monster back so that you can additional normal summon, negate, and destroy. We now should be at 0 forms of disruption. The True Light is not going to disrupt. It's going to reborn a Blue Eyes, but maybe we have a Primite Drill Beam in the back row that has now just been enabled. Probably not. As we now turn these two bodies into a Sprite Elf. We have an Ultimate Fusion Disruption. So from 5 disruption, we had the mysterious 6 form of disruption, which will non-target pop a monster on the field. Let's fuse it up into the Tyrant Dragon as we get popping. Even though it was untargetable, we non-target popped it. And now we're left with just a gigantic Sprite through 6 disruptions we played through. We're going to summon a Swap Frog from the deck, send from the deck a Ronin Totem. Ronin Totem's going to banish the Swap Frog from Engrave, come forth. As we turn these two bodies into a Sprite Elf. We're now going to Ronin Totem, banish the Swap Frog, reborn itself back onto the field, turning those two bodies, Gigantic Sprite and our Ronin Totem, into the Little Knight, banish away a monster on the field, say goodbye to the Ultimate Spirit Dragon. Ronin Totem reborn itself back on the field, swing in, it cannot be destroyed by battle. The first time it would be destroyed, the second time it is now gone. We're gonna set the double cross and pass. We can banish a Little Knight, we could also steal a monster. Thank you very much for the Cipher Divine. We now can negate a monster effect. Since you activated a card effect, we could use the Little Knight to chain banish away your Tyrant Dragon. We're gonna use the True Light to further special summon a Blue Eyes from Engrave as we use the Sprite Elf to reborn our Sprite Jet from Engrave. We can still ready to use the Cipher Divine to not only negate a monster effect, but also pop the True Light. If you activate the Maiden, that will be a good use of the Cipher Divine, which it looks like we passed on that activation. We're now going to use the Wishes Rise of Blue to equip the Neo Ultimate to summon a second copy of the Tyrant, I believe. We're going to protect ourselves from battle. We can attack once each into every monster, but protect each monster once each through the effect of the Cipher Divine. Now, it activated a monster effect and we didn't use the Cipher Divine. Why is that? When your opponent activates, you can negate the effect. It does not negate in the damage step. I thought that this would be an activation negator. It is not, so it could not have even negated its effect. We're now going to further go into a Typhon, which completely turns off the Cipher from being activatable. As we non-target, bounce the Cipher back into our extra deck. As we return back from the field, the second copy of the Tyrant Dragon plus our Little Knight here. Let's Sprite Elf, reborn back our Moon of the Closed Heaven into our Fiendsmith Requiem. Requiem jump off into the Crimson Tier, send Engraver here. We're going to reborn itself back onto the field. We can equip it with the Requiem or not, as we're going to chain the Majesty to non-target pop multiple cards on the field as we chain Little Knight to banish away itself plus the Typhon off the field. Let's see what our non-target pop is going to be. 2 Blue Eyes White Dragons, say goodbye to the Elf and the Engraver. Let's now further turn these two bodies into a sequence. Sequencing this play to now fuse into a Lacrima. Let's now reborn the Engraver back on field. Turn both bodies into a Wave King Caesar. Sprite Elf, add from the deck our Gamma Burst. We're now going to further go into a gigantic Sprite, which truly is gigantic at 3,200. Searching our deck for a carrot after summoning the blue. As we now go to battle, boost up the field as we set from the deck. Carrot says, no way, you're not setting from the deck. I'm going to tribute off the Sprite Blue, which will keep the True Light on field. Boosting up the gigantic Sprite to how big? 4,600 attack with over 12,000 damage on the field. We're going to be setting a trap into the back or not activatable the turn it's set as the Carrot swings in for lethal damage. Boda with Sprite. Clapping up a 6 disruption, turn 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon deck. Is this good enough to pay or shall we ban? People are probably just going to ban. They saw Fiendsmith, they don't like Fiendsmith. It doesn't matter how cool it was. Now, I have to admit, in the no ban list tournament, when I initially saw Fiendsmith, I was not looking forward to what was going to happen, but then he turned his Fiendsmith plays into a true king of all calamities. That was the coolest I've ever seen Fiendsmith. Also, I don't think people like Sprite. This is gonna be a ban, right? There's no freaking way. Boom. Oh my, I didn't expect to be this close. 55%, 56%. Boda, I am very sorry, my friend, but I know you've been with me for years. Boda, this is the end. You're banned. No money, do not pass go, straight to jail, you're out of here. Will you get banned or paid for your 1-year-old replay? Begin. Start off with a branded regain plus a high spirit. We're going to reveal Albaz, get a Titan Clad to then send it. We're now going to further go into a fusion deployment, summon a Cartesia from the deck. Let's talk about this trap. What? During either player's turn, you can immediately synchro summon using monsters you control, including a dragon monster. Huh? Just show me. I mean, Super Poly's probably gonna mess this up, right? Agrippa, begin. Get gripping. We have Jen here in response to the summon. Regain's gonna trigger to reborn the Serenir. We're gonna Super Polymerization here, fuse away the Mirror Jade and Cartesia into our own Grand Granole. Now, Grand Granole on summon is going to be activating to send from the deck or extra deck a monster as the Quem now triggers to reborn the Mirror Jade, as the Mirror Jade also triggers to destroy the entire field of monsters during the end phase. We now have Triple Tactics talent activatable to take control of a monster, which we could yoink the Mirror Jade. As we send the Garura to draw a card, trigger the effect of the Grand Granole to summon from the deck or extra deck because you summoned a monster through a monster effect. Let's draw into a Nadir Servant here, as we now summon from the deck Ecclesia. We have Grand Granole of our own also triggering to summon from the deck or extra deck as the Ecclesia is searching our deck. Cavorth Coritis. Now, the Ecclesia is going to be searching for the Dogmatica Matrix. If the opponent controls a card, Dogmatica Matrix is a huge plus. We're going to first Triple Tactics talent, attempt to take control of a monster as the Mirror Jade non-target monster banishes to send a Rinbrum to then reborn the Albaz further in this turn. Say goodbye to the Ecclesia. Get yoinked. Your Coritis is mine. Jen, the Diamond Tiger, is now going to special summon a Ken from your hand or deck to the opponent's side of the field. We're going to Rinbrum block the summon of the Jen. Ain't no way. We just got blocked here as the Albaz now discards to fuse to the opposing side of the field. As the Coritis is about to get fused away, we're going to use the effect to reduce every fusion monster, non-fusion, into 0 attack. As we go into a Titan Clad, 3,700. Nadir Servant turning off our extra deck as we now send an Entis to trigger to pop a card in the field. Take out that back row card, say goodbye to the Retribution. Dogmatica Matrix is now going to be searching for the Albazoa and the Dogmatica Calamity. Activate the Calamity to send the Lulawala Lilith to now summon the Albazoa from the hand. Albazoa is going to be doing what here? It states that during your main phase, you can make your opponent choose and apply one of these effects. For every 2 cards in your extra deck, send 1 card from your hand or extra deck to the graveyard. You're being you. You are going to be the player that this affects. Or you could return all Fusion, Synchro Exceeds, and Link monsters you control to the extra deck. And also, Dogmatica monsters are completely unaffected by the activated effects of Fusion, Synchro Exceeds, and Link monsters. We have the Herald of Arclight being sent to the grave to search our deck for the Dogmatica Cabre. We're going to special summon the Maximus, send 2 cards from our extra deck. That will trigger the Herald of Arclight. We're also going to be able to use the Engrave Fossil Machine to pop a back row card. Let's take out the Etude, which the dude didn't even use to synchro. What is the point of that card? We now have White Relic of the Dogmatica here. We are going to be boosting up Dogmatica Albazoa into 7,700 attack as we now summon the Floritis on the field, boost to 8,200, 8,200 lethal over the 0 reduced Quem for game. This is the replay we saved for more than a year. Agrippa, will you get banned here? Pay or ban the fool? You tell me. Let's set it up. I don't know, chat. You tell me. We had someone also sitting on their replay for, what, 2 years, and you still chose to ban them? Boom. The Mad Lad is overwhelmingly getting paid. 90% pay. You get it, Agrippa. Congratulations. You will not be banned today. Paid. And that was Banner Pay. Please let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this, if you want more of this. I would very much enjoy hosting more of these events in the future. Let's go.